Hello everyone, it's Friday, October 11th. This is Liam McMahon with GlobalFXClub.com here today to talk to you about stuff that's going on in the markets as we wrap up this week. I'll talk about equities and then some currency pairs and talk about what to take a look at for next week. So please take a moment to read the risk disclaimer, which should now be on your screen, and then we'll get started. Alright, let's start with E-mini futures. So U.S. equities continue to march higher here on hopes that a debt deal is going to get done. The Republicans proposed a deal yesterday. It was rejected, or at least not accepted by the president. Sent it back. There have been rumors earlier today that the Republicans are now preparing to offer a deal that will both up the debt ceiling and reopen the federal government in exchange for talks on spending cuts. We'll see if that bears out to be true and whether or not the president accepts it. If that is the case, that would be the Republicans pretty much caving, giving into both the demands made by the Democrats, which is open the government and extend the debt ceiling deadline. So we'll see how that plays out tonight and into the weekend. So this is the daily chart of E-mini futures. You can see we had this beautiful breakdown followed promptly by a break back into the wedge. 100-day EMA held. We're back above the 50-day. Next major resistance, technically speaking, is about 1720, which would be the top of the wedge again. It's been a somewhat frustrating trading time for E-minis with that false breakout. We'll see what kind of news we get and how that continues to extend going into the end of the day, and then of course we'll see what news comes out over the weekend. Yen pairs, dollar yen nearing some resistance here. Retest of this backside trend line comes in at about 99, and the major resistance is 100. The breakout from this wedge here, all right, let me delete this line, is a pretty powerful suggestion that we may be continuing higher up until this 100 level, and then from there we may see a pullback before another breakout. But for right now, dollar yen does look like it's fairly constructive. Other yen pairs, euro yen, all right, clear breakout. Pound yen, a little bit less clear, just missed a retest here, and then we do have some resistance on pound yen right around market actually, so keep your eye on that for next week. Pound yen, in my opinion, the least constructive. I can't even necessarily say that anymore. The least clear, at least, of the yen pairs. Aussie yen, okay, breakout continuing to march higher. Kiwi yen, very nice breakout, marching higher. This Kiwi yen breakout was extraordinarily obnoxious. We made several false breaks above before we finally caught the bid and headed higher. But this looks poised for new highs above 84. So that would be a good one to keep your eye on for retracements or consolidations. CAD yen, another one marching higher. The Canadian dollar stronger today, especially against the dollar, despite weaker than expected job creation out of Canada. All right, so they created fewer than expected jobs, but the unemployment rate dropped unexpectedly. Again, just like Australia, that was due to a lower participation rate. In Canada's case, it was a lower youth participation rate as people 18 to 25 stopped looking for jobs in Canada. So that's not necessarily great news, but the Canadian dollar caught a bid anyway. Rolled over very nicely here at this 6.18% fib at 1042. All right, now we're heading back lower. We'll find some support on CAD yen just below market. All right, as well as the top side of this congestion range up here. So it does still look constructive. We do have to contend with the backside of this ascending trend line, so keep that in mind. Pound dollar continues to trade bearishly, in my opinion. All right, head and shoulders breakdown. Now we seem to be forming a nice consolidation here just above the 200 period EMA on the 4-hour chart. So keep your eye on that. This bearish reversal candle here came in very nicely at a 38.2% fib, which is a continuation fib. Okay, you can see it right there. I am expecting to see this 200 period EMA on the 4-hour chart give way and this pair to continue lower. First target, 50-day major support is at 157. Those are the two levels to keep your eye on for pound dollar. Euro dollar, Alright, kind of just chopping after we broke out of this little miniature ascending wedge. Dollar Swiss, a lot clearer. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Okay, we have this inverse head and shoulders break. Now we're again consolidating very nicely here. Looking for a break of 91.25, 91.30 basically, as long as we stay above this 50-period EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and this support level here at 90.75. I'd like this pair to the upside to about 92.50, okay, which is this ascending trend line. Euro Swiss looks very constructive. Next major resistance is just shy of 124. That is a very big level, so keep your eye very carefully on that. Aussie dollar, choppy. Kiwi dollar, choppy. These pairs have been untradeable lately. They may remain untradeable for quite a while. Euro Aussie sitting on trendline support right now. Potential head and shoulders with this double top as the head. So if we do manage to break that trend line, I do very much like it for shorts. Pound Aussie fighting right now with its support level. Okay. If we do manage to finally get a close below 168, it looks good for shorts, but as long as we sit above 168, the potential for a sudden squeeze higher remains pretty strong. Dollar Swedish krona, alright, trading very technically here as it tends to do. Rejection, I do like it to consolidate sideways and then continue its march higher. So that's one to watch next week if you trade the Nordics. Major support 645, major resistance 654. So that's easy enough to remember. Let's look at the Nikkei real quick. Oh, that's right. I want to do gold and oil. Nikkei, watch. 15,000 is the major level. If we clear 15,000 on the Nikkei, get ready for a super bid on the yen pairs. All right, those should fly higher, and the Nikkei should move pretty quickly as well. So watch that 15,000 figure very carefully. Gold. All right, continues to sell off down 2.2% today. I do still like it lower, especially if we break out of this descending wedge to the downside. If we do, these lows at 11.79 are likely to get tested. Oil continues to sort of chop here. Watch this trend line. All right, it's still holding. If we break out, we could see a bid. Silver looks bearish as well. Look for a close below this area here on this area on silver. So that's what I'm looking at for the markets. Most important charts are going to be E-minis and dollar yen. I would avoid Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar until we see some clearer setups there. And that's about it. So that's what I see. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Keep one eye on the news this weekend. If we see a deal reach, we'll likely see risk on, dollar on to start the week on Monday, although considering today's price action, we may be seeing the fact that a deal is already being priced in pretty well, considering the last 2 days of solid, very, very strong performance in U.S. equities. All right, so good luck trading. Have a great weekend. I look forward to talking to you all soon.